Hi folks, good afternoon, welcome back to the Monkey's Uncle Dutch Club how-to video section. Today we're going to be doing a air filter on a Volkswagen T4 transporter. Now this is a Bosch air filter that I picked up from a local car part shop. Now this was actually cheaper from my local car part shop than one of the big generic stores. I won't tell you which one, I won't put them to shame. But this was a heck of a lot cheaper. So if you can, source your stuff locally, but keep your businesses going, your local businesses going. So as I say, it's just a Bosch air filter, cheap enough, and these do need replacing fairly regularly. So there we go. Let's get on with changing this over. Okay, so first of all we need to declutter this area. So these will twist and pull off like that. So simple twist and it'll catch on there, make it a lot easier, get your access a lot easier. Next, I recommend you get a pair of mole grips. These clips, they're very hard to get on and off with a normal pair of pliers, but if you get your mole grips just right, there you go, you'll hold it and you can move it around, because you need to take your air box cover, your air filter box cover off, and this pipe needs to come off as well. Is it a little bit fiddly just to get on and off? There's not a lot of room, so we'll just slide your clip out, keep that to one side. Now your air filter does come with a couple of clips, one here and one here, so we'll just unclip those, and your wires, just pull those off the top. Okay, and your top box should just come away if you've undone all your clips. So this bit is just a little bit fiddly, trying to get out. Just wiggle it out. It will come. There you go. And here's the old filter. As you can see, it's not too bad a condition considering some I've seen in the past, but compared to the new one, you can see the difference there. Okay, so while we've got this out, what I'm going to do now is take the whole box out and have a look underneath, because what the T4s do have a problem with is, if you notice in the side of the wing there are vents, so a lot of debris and water does get in. So if you come around this side, you can see on your lower wing here there's a sponge foam insert in there that collects a lot of debris, which then goes into your air box and in through to your air filter. So we'll get that out and we'll have a look. Right, so we'll undo these bolts in here and we'll take the box out, and we can see how much dirt's actually accumulated. It's an easy DIY job and it's well worth doing. The inside here now there's a rubber bung which holds it onto a bracket inside on both sides, so we just have to pull this section out. Right, it did take a little bit of tugging, but there's a couple of rubber bungs in there which, just a little bit of brute force, they'll come out. Okay, so now you need to take all your wires, clips and cables off and just wiggle your box a little bit and it will come out. There we go, a little bit of persuasion. As you can see in there, there's a fair bit of dirt, so we'll give that a bit of a hoover out and a bit of a brush out, and we'll get and clean that up. Now this pipe here on the back side of the box goes through, if you can see in there, to a sponge rubber panel which fits over. That's on the inside of your wing, and that's collecting a lot of water, a lot of moisture, and that's why your wings are going rotten on the inside. So it's well worth taking this out and giving it a good clean. If you look down in here, you can see it connects up. So what you need to do now is, while this is out, get right down in here, and this is coming out from the inside. This is collected over however many years. It's probably never been done from the previous owner, but it's well worth, and that's just one handful. I'm going to have a good dig around inside there and give it a good clean out, and then we'll put some anti-seal inside and make sure it doesn't rot away. We'll give it a good clean out, so we'll get back to you when this is cleaned out. Right, so what we're going to put on next is some heavy duty underseal, which I got a couple of cans off the internet. There's plenty of this type of stuff about, so we're going to put it in the bay where we've taken inside the wing. There's a little bit of corrosion coming through because it's been so damp over the years. This underseal, it says it protects against corrosion, water, stones, salt, etc. So we'll put it inside there and let it go off before we reassemble the box. And while that's going off and drying, let's have a well-earned break. Okay, so before we start reassembling it, now that's gone off, the foam insert that goes on the side of the wing, we've cleaned it out a little bit, but as you can see, it does hold quite a bit of moisture. So again, it's well worth letting this dry out properly before you put it back, and try and stop as much mould getting back in there. Obviously it will collect more moisture, but for future reference, you just need to know how to get to it now, and keep on top of that. You probably need to do that maybe once a year. Let it dry out as much as possible, and then we'll reassemble it all. Everything now just goes in reverse order. We'll fit it all back together. Hopefully it should be all right. You need to make sure you get this back securely inside the wing recess. Okay, that's fitted back on. And while it's out, it's worth giving this a bit of a brush out and a clean out as well. There's a lot of dust and debris collected in that, so we'll give that a good clean. We'll just have to jiggle this about to get it back in. Two grommets pushed back in, and now where we took that bolt out from before, just going to put a little bit of WD-40 on, make it go back in easier and protect it for future reference. And that came out with a 14mm socket. We'll just put that back in. Okay, now we're ready to put the new air filter back in. For those who are interested, this is a Bosch air filter, and that's the model number, the piece number, if you needed to order one. And so this one was £9 from my local car parts shop. If you can support your local shops, please do so. Makes a big difference. Right, so it's a simple case of putting this one back in carefully and not to rip or tear it. There you go, just slots in the top. Make sure it's bedded down firmly. And the reverse of the process, putting the actual top of the case back on. Now, as you can see at the back here, it's got 3 retaining clips, so those go back into the lugs at the back to hold it down. So again, just be a little bit careful putting it back in so you don't rip or tear your brand new filter, otherwise you'll have to start all over again. the top cover's back on, we'll just re-clip in the wires out of the way. And what we need to do is get your ring, securing ring, back on the over the side of there, and as if you left it in your mold grips, it should be nice and easy to replace. Put your hose back on. Yeah, and slip it over the top. Ease it. Now once it's in place, just release your mold grips, and there, done. And simply, you wash your bottle. That just goes back on the top there, and twist back on, and you're done. So that is your air filter replacement. Don't forget, have a look underneath, make sure everything's alright, sort out any rot, because if you don't do it now it'll only get worse. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the Monkey's Uncle Ducks Club. Thanks for watching.